From Space City, USA, Paul Boesch presents Wrestling Spectacular, matching the world's top wrestlers in fierce competition.
Up in the ring, we have Boyd Pierce, ringside announcer, who's going to introduce this match to you, and it should be a great one.
This event, one fall with no time limit. Introducing first in the red corner, Buffalo, New York, 230-pound, Playboy Gary Hart presents Maniac Mark Lewin. And across the ring in the blue corner, at 265 pounds, the American Dream, the living Stardust, Dusty Rhodes. One fall, no time limit. You can turn loose or you man.
So there you have it, the makings of what should be a sizzling battle. One fall, there is no time limit. Dusty Rhodes, the All-American Dream, nationally ranked, up against Maniac Mark Lewin, who has taken over the kingpin of toughness here in Texas, managed by the arrogant Gary Hart. And now you see Dusty Rhodes anxiously awaiting the bell. We have not had the bell yet with his fans here, and we have a huge crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum as they start to shout Dusty on. Good shot of the packed house here, of the impatient Dusty Rhodes, of the hesitant Maniac Mark Lewin, and now we got the match. As Maniac Mark Lewin wastes little time in coming down on Dusty, and he came down on Dusty with Gary Hart's shoe. But now Dusty Rhodes unleashes, and out of the ring goes Maniac Mark Lewin, and Dusty's right behind him. Then Dusty comes down with that chair, and don't expect very many wrestling holds in this battle. Expect to see one of the wildest matches you've ever seen. Listen to this crowd as they charge Dusty Rhodes up. A huge roar. My name is Peter Birkholz. I'll be your host for this event, and look towards doing the job with a great deal of anticipation. I know the reputation of both of these men, and it's smack on the line on this match. Maniac Mark Lewin getting some few words of advice from Gary Hart. Something along the lines, I'm sure Hart's telling Maniac, Dusty Rhodes can't hurt us. And of course, Gary Hart is outside the ring when he speaks that way. So maybe that's a gesture of peace from the Maniac. You can never tell what Lewin is up to. Maniac is not a name that his mother gave him. It's a name that's been tagged on him from wrestling fans from all across the Far East, Australia, throughout this country of America. And it seems to fit. When he gets inside that ring, he's an individual bent on one thing, and that's victory. But he's up against one of the winningest stars the past few years in the professional ranks, Dusty Rhodes. Top box office attraction, a flamboyant star who makes his money on winning matches and winning it in a colorful style, all of Dusty Rhodes. As the fans here at the Coliseum still are screaming that Maniac is up to no good. That's a close-up of the Maniac. He hugs that turnbuckle. And now Dusty Rhodes is protesting of Bronco Lubitsch, who is the referee of this match, to send Gary Hart away from ringside and back to the dressing room. Listen to this crowd now as they start to chant, out, out, following Dusty Rhodes in rhythm. But the protest fails. Watch Maniac. He's trying to back Dusty into that corner. And this is Maniac at his dangerous best. Pushes Dusty out towards Gary Hart, and you can bet he had a reason for that. So Playboy Gary Hart catching it from the fans outside the ring as they want to see their favorite Dusty Rhodes caught in a bad way. Look at the squeeze. Maniac is a powerful athlete. He packs a powerful squeeze, and look at that upper body tense up. Look at that look of determination in Maniac's face as he puts every ounce of effort down all the way down to his fingertips and digs into Dusty Rhodes. And there you have it, Dusty Rhodes caught in the big squeeze that the Maniac is famous for. Wears down his opponent, punishes his opponent. Makes him wish that he was anywhere except in the ring against Maniac Mark Lewin. Again, a close-up shot. Fingers digging in. Dusty Rhodes trying to somehow reverse the pressure, but it did not work. A strong upper body, a powerful upper body on this Maniac Mark Lewin. And that's what makes him that much more dangerous. And when he teams with Gary Hart, it's trouble. It's trouble with a capital T, but Dusty Rhodes is used to handling trouble. He aims that bionic elbow, he likes to call it, because he can throw an elbow as well as any man in professional wrestling, and down it came. That's that same elbow that crashed down on Maniac. Gary Hart trying to bring his boy back to. 5 minutes have gone by, and now we got Dusty grabbing a hold of Gary Hart. He's got two heads and crash. And a huge roar from the crowd here shouts their approval. Get them now, they shout. So a dazed Maniac Mark Lewin inside the ring. A dazed Gary Hart outside the ropes. And again, a meeting of the minds, and it looks like right above us that Gary Hart handed Maniac Mark Lewin his tie. This is a difficult job for any referee. Bronco Lubitsch is not looking forward to this match. It's hard enough to keep Maniac Mark Lewin under control, much less to have to worry about Gary Hart outside the ring. Dusty steps out, issues his protest to Bronco Lubitsch. Lubitsch does not listen and administers the 10 count to get Dusty back in the ring. So Dusty's cautious. He moves in slow. You see Maniac back up. Now they meet. Test of strength, and Dusty got the upper hand. Dusty was able to work the leverage to his favor, and he comes up with an arm twist. Again, Dusty adds that little extra twist. Dusty goes back outside the ring. Maniac follows. Dusty finds a chair, and it's an equalizer. Down it comes. And we've got the battle right outside the ring. Dusty uses that same tie. He got Maniac Mark Lewin. Comes down with that elbow, one right after another. Listen to this crowd. Fires away as Bronco Lubitsch finds out the best place to put Gary Hart's ties in his pocket. Dusty sets him up, and Maniac's caught in a bad way. Look how he comes down on the midsection of Maniac Lewin. As he stretched helplessly across the top rope, Gary Hart is trying to do something about it. But now it's Dusty who decides to take things in his own hands. Sets him up. Maniac came down with that knee. Dusty was preoccupied with Hart. Maniac came down with the knee. We've got them both beating up on Dusty. I think we're going to have a disqualification. Outside the ring goes the Maniac, then Hart, Dusty Rhodes, the winner.
Dusty Rhodes.
In a match as wild as we expected, Dusty Rhodes wins on a disqualification. But now let's stay here one more moment. Dusty Rhodes is encouraging him to come on down, come on back, and the Maniac could be making a mistake. Dusty gives him a target. But Gary Hart now, well, it looks like they're up to no good. Dusty Rhodes is watching both of them. Bronco Lubitsch steps outside the ring. His job is done. He had about enough of it.
Whichever one of y'all want to go first, get your little butt right over here and get to it.
So you heard the challenge by Dusty. As Hart and Maniac are up to something. Watch out, that crowd. Dusty in the corner, and Dusty strikes first. And that's Dusty Rhodes at his best. Out comes Maniac, and now is outside the ring. The match is over. But as far as Dusty's concerned, he's ready to get it on some more. He's sitting down here in the aisle now. And back to the dressing room goes the victorious Dusty. Maniac Mark Lewin with the chair, but Bronco Lubitsch puts a stop to it. So there you have it. Dusty Rhodes the winner in a hard and wild fought battle on a disqualification.
Well, we've got the makings of a great battle here right now, so let's give Boyd Pierce a chance to tell us about it.
Tonight's card. One fall to a finish. Big and little man on each team. Corner to my right in the blue corner, the team of Killer Brooks and Ivan the Terrible. Across the ring, their opponents, Tiger Conway Jr. and Tiny Tom. One fall to a finish. Danny McShane, your referee.
Well, you can see that there is a certain affinity between Brooks and Ivan the Terrible, these two bearded individuals. So you shouldn't have much trouble in telling the teams apart. Of course, the rules of a match like this say that when the big men are in, one man tags the midget, then the midget comes in on the opposite side. Of course, I am well aware that Ivan is a dwarf, and so is, and Ivan right now is making things tough for Tiger Conway. He knows how it felt in a match we had here just a short time ago, why Tiny Tom bit Ivan the Terrible. So I guess Ivan learned the lesson. Bit of byplay going on the outside of the ropes as Tiger Conway starts to move down to trap Ivan, but instead he was able to trap the Killer and to blast him with that headbutt, and we could have a fall. There's one. I was explaining that in spite of the fact that both Tiny Tom and Ivan the Terrible are dwarfs, we term all of the young men who wrestle, or the young ladies too, who wrestle and who are dwarfs or midgets, we term them as midget wrestlers. So those of you who will call and tell me that I was wrong, I understand that I'm wrong, but it is for simplification. And Tiny Tom clopped him on the side of the head with both ears hitting each one at the same time. That kind of traps the air in there, and it can be a painful maneuver, whether you're hit by the small hands of a midget or the big hands of Andre the Giant, because the air is driven in and trapped and feels like it was being pushed through, and Ivan never quite made it. So the hapless individual, Ivan the Terrible, has tried some things, but they sure haven't worked. A big, brave individual in the second row just challenged Ivan the Terrible. He better be careful. Ivan might beat him. Side headlock. And the noise you may hear in the background is the noise of Ivan the Terrible, and whoa! It worked. Got him again, and Danny McShane was insisting that the beard hold was illegal. He broke it. This brings Brooks in. It brings Tiger Jr. in. So it's Brooks, side headlock, hanging on tightly to Tiger Conway. There he goes, looking for whoa, he looked for him and he found him. Conway on top, could have it. And he ran into trouble. Ivan doesn't know which way to turn. Killer Brooks came to the aid of his partner that time and saved his midget bacon. The wrong thing to do with Tiger Conway Jr. Ivan's having all kinds of trouble. Nothing's going right for him. Anything I like better than a midget match, it has to be a midget big man tag team match. So Tiny Tom is in, and that should signal that Brooks goes out, but the rubber legs of Ivan the Terrible are not ready. So we have a quick switch without contact, which is legal. Found his mark, and he's finding it again. So it's a side headlock for young Tiger. The complaint, Ivan the Terrible trying to tell the referee that he was using his fist, and Conway comes in nicely under the circumstances, and he executed that avoiding of the blow exceptionally well. Hit him solidly. Oh, real chest to chest and shoulder to shoulder blow. And here is late. No, he's not going to get a pin. Nice move by Conway. He is maneuvering to come on top, and we could have a fall. There's one, there's two, and Ivan is trapped, and Tiger just didn't want to take advantage of the little guy and pop him. But Brooks is the one who really made the mistake. Ran right into his own partner. Great. They ought to be pleased, I'll tell you. They not only are pleasing this crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum tonight, but they are pleasing themselves. Notice what's happening over in the Conway's corner. He's got Tiny Tom up there, and we're liable to have a horse ride here. Well, I don't know. That's no way to... Whatever those circling hands mean, that's what they're going to try. So now, Tiny Tom holding up Tiger Conway Jr. And Ivan doesn't know whether to try it or not. Oh, I guess he's got the muscle power, and he came in here with Midget. He's telling his partner he's too fat. And I think Brooks is fed up with Ivan, told him to get out of the ring. So outside, Ivan lends a hand and holding Tiger into a tough spot. And maybe we're going to have more assistance. Ivan ran into more trouble. Tiger Conway's head was harder than Ivan's knee. There is not exactly a feeling of empathy between the killer and his diminutive partner. So it's Ivan and Tiny Tom. And that knee isn't functioning properly. Either that or he's trying to set a trap for his blonde opponent. And now Ivan is able to get a moment of triumph here, and this should do a lot to restore his morale. It won't help Tiny Tom very much, I'll tell you. Slammed him hard. 10 minutes have gone by as Ivan now is warning Brooks that he's got something planned. Well, Brooks held his leg up there to act like a ring post, and young Tom just was thrown right into it. This could be a bad spot for those people who have been delighted with Tiny Tom and have been cheering for him. But he's fighting his way out of trouble, and that makes a lot of difference. And Tom now has eased out of the problem of running into Killer Brooks' knee. Now he's going to try it again. He tried it. There is Tiny Tom on top. There is the fall. And Tiger Conway Jr. put a stop to Killer Brooks' efforts to change the course of history and There it is. There are the winners. All right, let's pick up the action now in the third event. And this one has a 15-minute time limit. That is the Mexican Devil, number 1 or 2 outside. It should be number 1 inside. And the one inside is arguing about the man outside. So it's hard to tell these fellas apart, as you probably have discovered. Even more difficult under the stress of being in there and facing one or both of them. Bruiser Brody just wants it made plain which one of them he is supposed to whip. Brody doesn't generally argue about how many he has to whip, but he wants to know whether he's going to have to take on both of them and get credit for it, or, as Don Diamond has already found out tonight, take on one at a time and find yourself wrestling both of them, each of them in turn. So Bruiser Brody, who recently, as last week, returned from Japan, who looked to be in sensational shape in his first match here from Japan. And tonight, as he views the Twin Devil, Brody just calmly steps in. He hasn't seen the Devils in action before, but they haven't seen Brody. And right now, Brody is showing one side of his nature. He's a man who likes to trade wrestling holds until the other fellow makes it clear that he doesn't want to. And then Brody is capable of really exploding with his own brand of counterattack. Brody's a rare individual. He has a lot of pride in everything he does. And he generally adds to that pride with every match he has. His reputation with Houston fans for doing what he says he's going to do is unexcelled. So Brody, proud as he is, not too proud to let the referee break the hold. That's always common sense. He's just watching to see what the Devil was going to do. You saw him look down, see where the Devil's feet were placed and what he was going to do about it. Now, as the Devil pushes in, the Devil on the outside has him, Brody by the boot, and Bronco, as he turned around, missed the added action on the outside of the ring. So we've got Brody in trouble, mainly because somebody's stepping on his throat, and here is Brody now out to settle things with the guy who grabbed him by the boot. He heard the count, and he doesn't want to lose the match just because he's after somebody's bearded chin. He's got a bearded chin up in the ring to take care of. Listen to this crowd. I want to tell you, this wild storm tonight has cut down on the size of the crowd, but it sure has not cut down on the quality. They are all in vociferous mood. So there is a pursuit going on. Brody is sure he's got the right man, but up in the ring, we've got one of the Devils, and the one that he has is, I don't believe, the one he started with. And Brody took enough of it. Now he's dishing it out, throwing it out too, I might say. Brody now wants to get one of them back up in the ring, and he could. Well, we've got a brawl going on in the ringside. Devilish brawl, I might add. So he is trying to feed Brody back to his brother in the ring, and I think that's the guy who started the action. Brody opening up. Brody finding his mark and hauling off. Crotch hold, and look at the way he handled that weight. Oh, he picked him up and turned him around and then drove him down. 5 minutes have gone by. 10 minutes remain in this match as the Devil stretched out on a canvas. Oh, the big boot, the bruising boot of Bruiser Brody. There's a big man getting up there for that driving drop kick. And I think we've just been had again by the switch. So in comes the Devil, not necessarily the only Devil in the world, because I think they just turned tables on us. Brody met that turnbuckle with violence for sure. And now the Devil is trying to use this rope as a means of garroting and a rip across the face. So Brody hauls in there with that huge boot of his in beautiful fashion. Crotch hold, a lift, and backbreaker. This could be it. He tosses him off. Here's Don Diamond. Don Diamond down the ring. Don Diamond in the aisle. And Don Diamond is pouring powder all over the head of the Devil. He's got him gray-headed. He's got the Devil on the outside. And oh, look at that powder going all directions here as Bruiser Brody slams him around. So Brody now shouldn't have much difficulty in telling them apart. That's Brody with all of his weight on there. There's two. There is three. And the gray-headed Devil on the outside is being chased now by Bruiser Brody. Slammed alongside of us here, and Brody now picks up a chair and decides maybe he'll get up in that ring and start to clean house. The Devils know when to attack, and so does Brody. So the Wild Man is on the outside and wild at the two people who are inside that ring, and here he goes, ready to clean house. Well, the winner is Bruiser Brody.
Bruiser Brody.
A great move by young Don Diamond, who came down here and decided to mark beyond a doubt one of the Devils. He sure did.
Introducing your main event of the evening, one fall to a finish, no time limit. At 270 pounds from Singapore, the last caller. From France at 484 pounds, Andre the Giant. One fall to a finish, your referee, Lewin.
So Andre the Giant and the Spoiler. A match one fall to a finish, and a match that is going to put both of these men on the spot. Andre bigger than ever. Now you've got to remember that the Spoiler is a 270-pounder. But in Andre the Giant, you have no ordinary big man. You have truly a giant. More than 500 pounds, and a man who has tremendous advantages in the size of his hands, the size of his feet, the size of his body. I'll tell you, this is a genuinely massive individual. Well, I think if I was going to wrestle Andre the Giant, the first thing I would do would be to cross my heart and try to pacify him. But I have never wrestled Andre the Giant, nor have I aspired to. I think that the problem with wrestling him is mental as well as physical. So Andre the Giant crowds into, look at the size of that hand on the neck of the spoiler. Look at the distance that it covers, and you get some idea of what the spoiler faces, or anybody faces, when they meet Andre the Giant. Side headlock. And Andre puts that squeeze, that rotating motion, that big maneuver on the head of the spoiler. Does the mask protect the spoiler? Well, it protects him against abrasions, but does it protect him against anything else? I don't think so. I think that what you have there is the fact that the mask enables the man who puts on the side headlock to hold it without slipping. It's Spoiler now trying to bring Andre over. He bends him over, but that's about all. And I think in this particular case, it was a matter of Andre going with the rolling motion of the side headlock. And Andre just picks 270 pounds up just by straightening up, which of course is not a tremendous feat, but when you consider that that 270 pounds was accentuated by the effort to try to take him over, then you know that it becomes a more difficult maneuver. Winglock for Andre the Giant. And the Giant puts the pressure under there. Andre's unique ability rests not only in his size, but in the fact that he is capable of wrestling, that he can move fast, that he is well proportioned, and that he does the things that smaller size wrestlers do, and sometimes does them better than they do. So Andre with the spoil. Now you notice who took him down that time. That was a move by the Giant. The Giant is rarely taken off his feet, but only recently. Look at the way he bounced the 270 pounds of spoiler around. But what Giant has included in the things that he does, a number of maneuvers to prove to people that he is capable of wrestling. Winglock. Andre lifting up on that arm, pulling at it, and Spoiler trying to use the hip lock. There are two words for that. Fat chance is both of them. And man on top, Andre the Giant, as he reaches for that arm and scrambles for it and comes up with it, and again goes in for that figure four arm lock. So Spoiler decides that the place to attack a man is where he cannot defend himself, where he can be the weakest, and that would be a man's eyes. The fact that they're staring at you, the fact that they are targets, and here is the Spoiler's best move. He caught him with that elbow, and he has stunned the Giant and placed him on that top rope, and he promised he was going to come down from above and attack the Giant from an aerial stance, and here he is now doing exactly that. And we've got the Giant on the canvas and Spoiler in good position now, but that's not the best position. That's a good way to break an ankle, to have a target the size of the Giant move out of the way and leave you wide open. And Giant put a stop to that blow. Oh, he come down with a clout, a sledgehammer type blow. And you notice he is still holding that spot on the back of his head where that first elbow that the Spoiler used caught him. And Spoiler, as he tears into Andre the Giant, is catching him off balance and catching him properly. I've never agreed with Spoiler's manager, Gary Hart, except on one thing. When he has touted Spoiler as a man who can wrestle and he knows whereof he speaks. Here he comes with that opportunity to hit him from above. And hit him he did. That big arm and that big fist covered a lot of territory and came down there to clobber him. Giant now with Spoiler with no place to go, backed up against that turnbuckle. Oh, that's hard hitting. And Spoiler, for a moment there, looked like he was either adjusting his wrestling gear or going for a secret weapon. The Giant ran into the knee of the Spoiler that time. But watch this man. He is capable of walking those ropes to find his right spot. And we've got the big man, the biggest man, down on the deck. On top, the Spoiler, too. Whoa! Oh, he came from underneath with the prone press, pushed up and hurled him away. And now he goes for the bear hug. And in this case, a bear hug appropriately names it. Spoiler's in trouble. Those big arms, those big hands, big forearms as they wrap around there can put the squeeze on. But Andre, even though he's shaken loose, bears right back in again to try exactly the same thing. The Giant putting that big squeeze on the Spoiler, and Spoiler trying to find that spot on the back of the head again. He must have raised a welt on there for sure, because as he came in, he looked again for the same area, and here he comes, ducking underneath the Spoiler's guard and getting those arms right tight around the midsection. He's going for his claw hold. You see him trying to put it on Andre and make it effective. Andre still holding the grip, and it's a little impossible for us from here to find out whether the claw hold is having its effect. Andre has a huge head. Spoiler has his hand taped. He has a glove on that hand. but he just shifted his hold, something I've never seen him really do before. He broke the hold and then tried again to bear in there. But is he really having the effect that he is seeking? And Giant is fading a little, but we're outside the ropes. May not look, yeah, you can see it from where you are now, but so again, as he comes up there, he swoops around to grab him with the bear hug, and Spoiler goes back in again. And Spoiler could be getting a fall out of this. This is as close as I have seen Andre come to getting pinned for a fall. That Spoiler is forcing that head and with his weight. But Andre still has, no, he doesn't have. He just broke it. He just broke the claw hold. Spoiler is bleeding a little at the mouth. You saw him reaching up there to grab the mouth, and again, as he comes over and slams that hold on Andre, he's trying to take as much of that head as he can, and Andre from underneath is trying to fight his way out. And Andre has been affected ever since that first elbow drove into the back of his head, and this is the closest that he has come to being pinned in this ring or any ring of which I am aware. As Spoiler comes in there with that claw hold. And Andre starts to fight to free his head. He is not able. Spoiler reaches over to grab him by the trunks to keep him from maneuvering. Spoiler clouds into him with his weight. Didn't work. He had to divide his attention away from the hold that he was trying to use. And Spoiler keeps the pressure on. And Andre the Giant's huge legs come wrapping around the head of the Spoiler and put the squeeze on the big man with the mask. That'll flatten your head, particularly with all the weight of the Giant's legs driving you down. So Andre gets up to his feet after that long application of that claw hold. There is the crotch hold. There's the lift and the slam. And Andre trying to regain his equilibrium after the concentrated attack of the claw. And, that size 22 foot just clobbered Spoiler that time. And the Giant racks the ring and sets him up. And Andre missed his target, trying to dive in there like a 200-pounder instead of the 500-pounder that he is. Spoiler putting up an amazing battle against Andre the Giant. And the effort that he is putting forth here right now is typical of why this man is known as the greatest masked wrestler in this country. And he's trying to gained the advantage of height. Spoiler in trouble. On top, 500 pounds. There is the fall. And Andre the Giant survives the devastating attack of the claw hold to come up with the winning fall on the spoiler in this battle here in the Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas. The winner, Andre the Giant.
And getting into the ring right now is, yes, a wrestling bear. And a big, beautiful brown bear who looks to me that he weighs at least 500 pounds and is having a little pre-match drink, a little cola in there as he gets the muzzle put on him. Now, facing that's Nick Adams, the trainer of the bear, who is making sure that muzzle is on. Is the muzzle foolproof? It's hard to say. I tell you one thing, I've wrestled bears when I wished that they had not had the muzzle on, and all you had to face was his snoot, because when they wrap you with that muzzle, they are pretty tough. So in the ring, Gary Hart, bald-headed Gary Hart, in direct contrast to his opponent, who is not bald-headed. And the bear has just given a leg dive to Gary Hart, upset him and put him down on the canvas, and is swarming around on him, much to the delight of the fans here, as this huge animal covers him in wrestling style, who moves around, as you can notice, moves around and keeps him covered. Nick Adams does not have a restraining chain on the bear, and the bear looks around here. I guess there, you notice how he grabbed that leg. He snatched that leg out from under him and upset Gary Hart and put him down. And the as the bear keeps on top of Hart, the trainer pulls him off to get Hart up so the bear can get him down again. I know what's in Nick Adams' mind. He wants that bear to do it in wrestling style, whether it's going to be bareback riding or not. There he goes, diving again for the legs of notice how he hooks it with that paw of his. Now that is now he's trying to double him up and to get his shoulders down to the canvas if he can. The toughest part of wrestling a bear is that fur gets in your mouth and your nose and your throat, in your eyes and your ears, and there again, Gary Hart tried to tussle with him and found it almost impossible. And now, referee Bronco Ludwig suddenly finds that the bear has snatched him by the leg and put him down. And the bear is ready to wrestle anybody who is in the ring. And Gary Hart's willing to stand back and watch somebody else wrestle him. The bear doesn't know one opponent from another. All he knows is that, by golly, there's somebody in there that he's supposed to wrestle, and anybody gets in front of him, he goes after him. So, there he goes after Hart, and he snatches Hart by the leg again and covers him. And Gary Hart has just been pinned by the bear. The issue was never in doubt, but the bear has used...
46 seconds, Victor the Wrestling Bear.
So the wrestling bear, Victor the Wrestling Bear, smothers Gary Hart and manages to glue him down to the canvas. And Hart, feeling that face of his, but let's keep the camera now on the bear, because I think he gets paid off up in the ring. He gets paid off in soft drinks. he's not a hard liquor man. You see him now as he gets up there and is rewarded. All this for winning a fall over Gary Hart. So this beautiful animal, and it is a beautiful animal, he is in fine condition. His coat glistens. He is surely a well-treated animal, and there he is, the Victor the Wrestling Bear.